The old Whitmore mansion sat at the edge of the forest, where fog rolled over the hills like restless spirits. I had inherited it after my uncle's passing, a house filled with secrets, portraits whose eyes followed you, and hallways that creaked with whispers. After months of silence, I decided to reopen it, hiring a small staff to maintain the place. Among them was Alara, the new housekeeper. She was quiet, reserved, and hauntingly beautiful in a way that felt familiar. Her dark eyes never met mine for long, and her hands often trembled. When she dusted the old family portraits, especially the one of my uncle, who had vanished under strange circumstances before he was declared dead. The first night she stayed, I couldn't sleep. The mansion's walls seemed to breathe, the wind groaning through the corridors. Around midnight, I heard soft footsteps approaching my room. I thought it was my mind playing tricks, until the door creaked open and Alara appeared, pale and frightened. She said she heard someone whispering in the kitchen, though all other staff were asleep in the servants' quarters. I followed her downstairs only to find nothing, no one, not even a flicker of light. Yet as I turned to reassure her, I noticed her eyes glistening with tears. "It happens every night," she whispered, "and always before 3. When I asked what she meant, she only said, "He doesn't like strangers in his house." Her words left a chill in me that no fire could warm. Days turned into weeks, and though I tried to rationalize everything, something about Alara's behavior unsettled me. She knew things she shouldn't, like which rooms my uncle had locked, which keys fit where, even which floorboards creaked in the West Wing. Sometimes I'd catch her murmuring under her breath in a language I didn't recognize. I once found her kneeling by the fireplace, holding an old locket, tears dripping onto the stone. When I asked, she hid it instantly and said it belonged to the woman who came before, but there had been no woman before her. The records showed she was the first housekeeper employed in years. One stormy night, the power went out. Lightning flashed through the hall, illuminating Alara standing outside my bedroom door. She looked lost, almost sleepwalking. When I guided her inside to rest, she stumbled into my arms, trembling. Her breath was shallow, her pulse weak. Before I could react, she collapsed against me, and for a moment, as I held her, she whispered something faint, like a name, Thomas. That was my uncle's name. I laid her on the bed and tried to wake her, but she was deep in sleep, her face pressed against my chest. I could feel her heartbeat, slow, irregular, and something in that fragile rhythm made me feel protective. The storm raged outside as she slept on me, her tears soaking my shirt. And though it felt strangely intimate, it wasn't passion I sensed. It was sorrow. As she slept, I saw her lips move again, whispering, "Forgive me." The next morning, Alara pretended as if nothing had happened. But I couldn't shake the feeling that her being here was tied to something deeper, something buried within the mansion itself. Determined to uncover it, I began searching the old study, where my uncle kept journals and ledgers. One entry caught my eye. The experiment failed. The heart couldn't be contained. Beneath it, another line. She knows, she remembers. That evening, I confronted Alara. Her eyes widened as if she'd been waiting for this moment. She led me to the cellar, a place the other servants avoided. The air there was heavy with dampness and decay. In the far corner, beneath rotting floorboards, she pried open a hidden compartment. Inside was a small glass vial filled with dark red fluid, glowing faintly. "It's his heart," she said. "He wouldn't let me destroy it." Her words sent a shock through me. My uncle had been obsessed with preserving life, studying forbidden sciences, chasing immortality. "He tested it on me," Alara confessed, her voice trembling. "He made me part of his work. That's why I can't leave this house. I'm bound to it. To him." I stared at her, trying to process it all. "You're saying you were part of his experiment?" She nodded, tears welling up. "I was his creation and his sin. I tried to end it, but when he died, something inside me didn't." I looked again at the vial. It pulsed faintly, as though it were still alive. That was when I realized her heart and his were connected. That night, the mansion woke with fury. Doors slammed, lights flickered, the air itself seemed alive. Alara grew weaker by the minute. She said the bond between her and my uncle's heart was breaking, that the mansion was fighting to keep her alive because it remembered. Him through her. I wanted to take her away, but she couldn't cross the threshold. The moment she stepped near the front door, her body seized with pain, and the floor beneath us cracked open like a wound. Through the crack, I saw something horrific, the remains of a lab buried under the mansion. Tubes, wires, glass tanks, and bones, my uncle's bones. As I stared in horror, Ilara fell to her knees, whispering an apology. "I didn't mean to keep it from you," she cried. "You're his blood. The house listens to you now." Suddenly, the storm outside grew louder, thunder rolling like a heartbeat. The lights went out again, and I felt a cold hand brush my face, not hers, but someone else's. A voice whispered from nowhere and everywhere at once. "You opened the door, Thomas!" I realized the truth then. Ilara hadn't called me by my uncle's name out of confusion. The mansion believed I was him. The bloodline, the inheritance. It had accepted me as its new master, the new vessel for the experiment. Ilara collapsed again, her breath fading. Desperate, I held her close. This time she didn't wake. Her head rested on my chest, still and silent. Then slowly, I felt a faint pulse that wasn't mine, 2 heartbeats echoing inside me. I buried the vial in the forest at dawn, thinking it would end everything. But that night I heard her voice again, soft, sorrowful, coming from the walls. The mansion no longer felt haunted. It felt alive, and I could sense her presence in every breath of wind, every flicker of candlelight. When I looked into the mirror, I sometimes saw her reflection beside mine, smiling faintly, eyes filled with peace. But peace came at a price. Weeks passed. I dismissed the servants and sealed the estate. Every night at exactly 3, I would wake to the same feeling, a gentle weight on my chest, warm and familiar. The first time I thought it was a dream, but when I opened my eyes, I saw her there just as before, asleep against me. Her touch was cold yet comforting. I wanted to move, but couldn't. "You set me free," she whispered, her breath soft as the morning breeze. "Now you must stay until the house forgets." The next morning there was no trace of her, no footsteps, no sound. Yet the locket she once hid was now resting on my pillow, open. Inside it was a photograph, my uncle, and Ilara, years younger, smiling beside him. The note beneath read, "Bound by heart, freed by love." Now I understand why she fell asleep on my chest that night. It wasn't exhaustion. It was transfer. She was giving back what wasn't hers to keep. His heart, his life, his curse. And every night since, when the fog wraps around the mansion and the house breathes again, I hear her whisper through the walls, "Sleep now, Thomas. The house remembers us both."